If you're still typing prompts into ChatGPT, this video might make you uncomfortable, but you probably need to hear it anyways. The era of chatting with a bot is ending. In 2026, nobody pays you to type into a box. They pay you to manage AI systems that work without you. The skills that matter now aren't prompting, they're orchestration, system design, and decision-making. Today, I'll show you the 7 skills most people are completely sleeping on, the skills that turn you from an AI user into an AI architect. And there's actually an 8th skill at the end, and it's the one that decides whether AI makes you replaceable or irreplaceable. Let's get into it. Skill number 1 is agentic workflow design. Let me explain what that actually means in normal human language. In 2025, the way most people used AI was this. You open ChatGPT, you type, "Write this email for me," it spits something out, you copy-paste, and it's done. In 2026, that approach is kind of outdated. The people who are ahead are not just using one AI, they are designing small systems of AI tools that work together. So instead of saying, "Hey, ChatGPT, write me an email," it looks more like this. Agent 1, researcher, looks up who this person is, their company, their LinkedIn, recent news. Agent 2, writer, takes that research and drafts the email. Agent 3, brand guardian, checks that email against your tone of voice and brand rules. Agent 4, scheduler, picks the right time and sends it, or drops it into your inbox as a draft. You are not the writer anymore, you are the architect. And here's the good part. You don't need to be a hardcore coder to do this. Tools like Crew AI, LangGraph, or visual builders like N8and literally let you drag and drop these steps like a flowchart. The real skill here isn't poetry, it's logic. It's being able to say, okay, what are the exact steps from idea to result? If you can draw those steps on paper, you're already 80% of the way to building an agentic workflow. Here's another example. Imagine you want to automate customer onboarding. Agent 1 reads the new customer form and pulls key info. Agent 2 generates a personalized onboarding plan based on their industry, size, and goals. Agent 3 writes the welcome email in your tone of voice. Agent 4 schedules a kickoff call in your calendar. Each agent is dumb on its own, sure, but together they're smarter and faster than you, doing all of that manually. So the big mindset shift is this. Stop asking, what prompt do I need? Start asking this. What is the flowchart of this task? If you can design the flowchart, you can design the workflow, and that's what companies are actually going to pay for. Skill number 2 is model routing and arbitration, and this one is literally a money skill. Here's the mistake most people make. They use the most expensive, smartest model for everything. That's like hiring a Harvard PhD to fetch your coffee, sort your spam, and copy-paste stuff from one doc to another. Completely overkill. In 2026, there are basically 3 types of models you can use. Big brain, and that is expensive, GPT-5 and Claude Opus. They are great for deep thinking, strategy, and complex stuff. Fast and cheap like Gemini Flash and smaller open source models, and these guys are perfect for simple, repetitive tasks. There are also local or private models. They run on your own machine or server and use for sensitive data. So model routing is the skill of deciding which job goes to which brain. For example, you want 50 ideas for YouTube titles with emotional hooks. Route that to a big creative model like Claude Opus, or you want to extract order numbers from 10,000 emails. Don't waste an expensive model, route that to a fast, cheap one. Or maybe you're working with internal financial data or contracts. Route that to a private or local model so it never leaves your environment. There's even a pattern now called semantic routing. It's basically using a tiny AI as a traffic cop. It works like this. It reads the user request and then it decides, is this simple, complex, private, or creative? And then it routes the request to the right model automatically. Why does this matter? Because if you're processing thousands of tasks per day, using the wrong model is like setting money on fire. Can you picture a support system handling 1,000 tickets a day? 800 are basic, something like, how do I reset my password? 200 are complex, angry customers, refunds. You route the 800 basic tickets to a super cheap, super fast model, and then you route the 200 difficult ones to your premium model, same customer satisfaction, totally different cost. Over a year, that kind of routing can be the difference between your AI bill being a small line item or a "why is this number so big" moment in your finance meeting. So the skill is this: stop thinking, which model do I like? Start thinking, which model is right for this task? That's the level of thinking employers and founders are already looking for. Skill number 3 is context engineering, and this is the new prompt engineering. You've probably heard the phrase garbage in, garbage out. We used to say that about prompts. Now it's more like this: garbage context in, garbage results out. Most people say AI is dumb, it gives generic answers. No, in most cases it's not dumb, it's amnesiac. It knows nothing about your business, your audience, your style, your goals, because you've given it none of that. Let me give you an example. If I go to an AI and say, how should I market my SaaS product? I'll get something generic, obviously, just copy-paste advice. But if before that question, I feed it context like this: my SaaS is for small marketing agencies, not enterprises. My brand voice is casual, a bit sarcastic, not corporate. My main competitor sells on cheap and easy. I want to sell on powerful and premium. My audience hangs out on LinkedIn and YouTube, not TikTok. Same AI, completely different answer. That's context engineering in a nutshell. Under the hood, this uses something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. That means you're building the library, which AI reads before it opens its digital mouth. The skill is collecting the important stuff, organizing it properly, connecting it to your AI so it stops guessing. If you do this well, your AI suddenly sounds like it knows your business. It remembers what you did before, and it stays consistent. That's the difference between just another ChatGPT user and someone who's effectively built their own private brain on top of these models. So start thinking, what does my AI need to know about me to give a smart answer? Feed it that and watch the quality level jump. Skill number 4 is AI auditing, or what you can think of as trace debugging. This becomes important the moment your agents stop just talking and start actually doing things for you, because if you give an AI tools your email, your calendar, your Stripe account, at some point it will do something dumb, not because it's evil, but because it followed a pattern you didn't intend. You create an agent and tell it, find the best domain name for my new startup and set it up. You meant this. Find options, recommend one, then wait for me. The agent interprets it as this. Pick one and buy it. It goes off, finds a great domain for $500 and it buys it. This is where AI auditing comes in. Modern agent frameworks log something called a trace, a step-by-step journal of what the agent thought and what it did. You read it, you spot where the logic broke, and you add a rule. You're not fixing code, you're fixing reasoning, and as agents become more common, this is turning into a real job. Skill number 5 is vibe coding plus something I'd call technical intuition. You might have heard this from people like Andrej Karpathy. The idea is that you can code by vibe. You describe what you want in plain English and an AI tool writes the actual code. That already works today with tools like Cursor, Replit, and Windsurf. You can literally type, build me a simple snake game in the browser, and it will generate the whole thing. So, do you still need to learn to code? Well, you probably don't need syntax, but you definitely need structure. Here's what I mean. You don't need to know how to manually set up an API request in code. But you should understand that an API is just a way for one app to talk to another app programmatically. You need to understand that there are inputs, outputs, and there are also rules. Because when the AI suggests I'll loop over your customer list and call this API for each of them, you need to be able to think, wait, is that too many calls? Is that going to be slow or expensive? Do I need rate limits? Without that intuition, you're kind of flying blind. Here's an example. You ask AI to build you a simple landing page. It generates everything. It looks great. But when you open it on your phone, everything's squished and broken. Someone might think AI failed. Someone with technical intuition thinks this. It forgot responsive design. Let me ask it to add media queries for mobile. Do you see the difference? You didn't need to code it yourself, but you need to know what was missing. So vibe coding is really this. I don't write code, but I know enough about how software works that I can ask for the right thing and spot when something looks wrong. You become like a director working with a super fast developer. Practical way to build this. Spend a few hours learning the basics. What are variables? What are functions? What is a loop? What is a database? What is an API? Then use an AI coding tool and watch how it structures things. Ask, why did you choose a loop here? Why did you create this function? Let the AI explain its own code to you. You don't need to be a traditional programmer to build software, but if you have technical intuition, and only then AI becomes 10 times more powerful in your hands than in someone who treats it like magic. Skill number 6 is agent orchestration. Think of this as being a chief of staff to your AI team. Earlier, we talked about designing a workflow. Now we're zooming out one more level. Now we are talking about multiple specialized agents working together on a bigger project, and your job is to coordinate them. Let's say you're running a content-driven business, a YouTube channel, a newsletter. You could set it up like this. A research agent scans the web, Reddit, Twitter, newsletters for trending topics in your niche. Also gives you a list of hot ideas plus references. Content strategy agent takes that list and turns it into a content calendar. This topic becomes a long-form video. This one becomes shorts. This one is a newsletter. Script writing agent drafts scripts or outlines based on your past style and your templates. Repurposing agent takes the long-form content and turns it into tweets, LinkedIn posts, and email subject lines. Analytics agent looks at performance and tracks what worked, also tells the research agent what to look for next time. Each one does a narrow job. You're orchestrating how they talk to each other and also in what order. Most people still treat AI like a one-off helper. Hey, write me one caption. Orchestrators treat AI like a team. You research, you outline, you draft, you repurpose, you analyze. The skill here is systems thinking, in knowing what the stages of a process are, in assigning the right kind of agent to each stage and making sure data flows correctly from one to the next. This is where one person can suddenly operate at the output of a small team. Not because you're working harder, but because you've designed a system where AI does most of the heavy lifting and you're just steering the ship. And skill number 7 is cognitive architecture, or in simple terms, designing how an agent thinks and remembers. This is the deep end, but it's not as scary as it sounds. Most people's mental model of an AI is this. I ask a question. It gives an answer. That's the end. That's a single step. Cognitive architecture is this. I ask a question, it plans, it checks its plan, it executes, it reflects, it remembers. You're designing the thinking loop. Let's take a customer support agent example. A basic agent reads the ticket, finds an answer in the docs, sends a reply, then forgets. That's it. A smarter agent, plan. This looks like a billing issue. I should check their last invoice and recent support history. Critique the plan. Is there any chance this is actually a technical problem disguised as billing frustration? Execute. Pulls data, writes a response, suggests a refund or a fix. Reflect. Did the customer respond positively? Did this resolve the ticket, or did they write back? Learn. Okay, last time I tried X and they were still upset. Next time I'll also suggest Y. Tools like LangGraph and LangChain now let you visually design these kinds of loops. You literally connect, plan, critique, execute, reflect, store in memory. Why does this even matter? Simply because the world is moving from bots that always feel like they're starting from zero to this, agents that actually learn from past interactions and get better over time. And the people who know how to design those thinking patterns will be extremely hard to replace. You're not just telling the AI what to do anymore. You're telling it how to think about what it does. Those are the 7 hard skills, but there's one more layer beneath all of them. Less technical, more human. You could call it analog anchoring. The more AI we use, the more average everything becomes. AI is trained on the internet. The internet is the average of human knowledge and behavior. So that means that if you only create with AI, you're creating from the average of the average. And your real advantage in this new world isn't just how many models you know or how advanced your workflows are. It's the non-AI experiences you bring with you, the strange hobbies, the hard moments you push through, the offline conversations and observations most people never have. So yes, learn agentic workflow design. Learn routing, context, auditing, vibe coding. Learn orchestration and cognitive architecture. But also, go for a walk without your phone. journal with a pen, try things that might fail without an algorithm guiding you. Because the people who become truly irreplaceable won't be the ones who use AI the most. They'll be the ones who combine deep AI leverage with deep real-world human experience. With that said, if you are completely new to AI, watch this video next and steal my AI learning framework. It is not as hard as you may think, and share it with another human